It's May 23rd, 2018. This is a video about foreign brides and foreign husbands for those so inclined. Why do people seek foreign brides? Well, for the same reason they seek brides that are not foreign. To have a life, to have a wife, to have children. What's the matter with that? It's true that there are some countries which have a higher propensity for cheating. Those countries are fairly well known. Russia, Ukraine. Largely they use their good looks, as a means of just lying about sincerity. But there's other countries where that happens less. So, there's a man that I listen to on the YouTube, the series of tubes called YouTube, his name is Stefan Molyneux, and he has these social issue call-in shows about approximately 30% of his shows are social issue call-in shows. 30 or I don't know, between 40 and 20% on average. And so his philosophy stuff and stuff about Marxism, interviews with people, they're generally of a high quality. But the fact that he has social issue call-ins seems a little strange to me. And his approach toward all of his social issue callers is to basically verbally beat them over the head, treat them in a very degrading way, in my view. And this foreign bride issue is no exception. But Mr. Molyneux seems to have a particular penchant or issue with foreign brides. I'm not sure why. It's a brave new world. The internet, the ability to communicate with people. Why would a foreign bride want an American man? Well, maybe she wants a husband. There could be some people who want to do it for the green card or other things, but like I said, you have to try to judge people by their character and see. One key point is, did they have a job in their home country? What was that job? And to tell you the truth, if that job was a service-oriented job, like a teacher or something like that, then they're probably going to have a higher likelihood of being less of a cheater and more honest. So, marriage is an exchange, okay? But just because it's an exchange doesn't mean it's not valuable. Doesn't mean that it's not useful. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it and try to be excellent at it. Doesn't mean there's not love involved, even if it's a situation where you're doing less dating up front. People are adaptable, and anyway, so if you listen to Mr. Molyneux's vids about every time he talks to someone about a foreign bride, it's mostly dismissible pablum or drivel. Get me a bucket. And the social issue call-ins of Mr. Molyneux sound staged to me. Yeah, you can talk flippantly and incorrectly and paint a broad negative brush until it's you in this situation where you made it work mostly successfully. Then you might change your tune. That's the case with most things. But Mr. Molyneux seems to allow the rather negative ghosts of his past to be the guiding, harsh hand or approach that he uses with his social issue callers. So Molyneux is a popular guy, and among the conservative circles. And I admit he does a good job with philosophy talk. He does a good job with interview shows. But the social issue call-ins are like a strange outlier. I'm not sure why they exist in the first place. Why would people call to a stranger and essentially hand their hearts over to that person so that they can then be kind of beat up, diminished, demeaned, treated in a demeaning way? Why would they do that again and again and again? It seems strange. Now, the fact that that whole situation exists, might lend one to think, well, maybe we should reduce our appreciation for Mr. Molyneux's other contributions. But his other contributions seem to be more about calm thinking rather than painting a negative broad brush or being too harsh with people on social issues. So some social issues deserve judgment, rather cutting judgment for, like hijacking your brain with drugs. Okay, that's bad. Hijacking your brain with too much porn, or spending too much time whacking off instead of going out on a date and devoting your sexual energies toward dating. Okay, there's some value in talking about that. But the matter of why people choose to go outside of their immediate social sphere to find a mate. Why do they do that? Well, why do salmon swim upstream? Why do men fight wars to get more resources and mates, or become more successful to get mates? Why? And sex is selfish and selfless at the same time. At the same time, inseparable. So you can't just say that sex is selfish. Well, that is, unless you're popping eugenicist Margaret Sanger's birth control pill. And then you're not really having sex anyway, because sex is always inherently reproductive by definition. So if I had a social issue call in, I guess I'd be harsh on that judgment. Yep. But I realize that people can have their brains hijacked by cults. So that's why taking the red pill is important. Molyneux is one red pillar on some issues. Social issue call-ins are a strange outlier but that detracts from his other work, in my view. So anyway, back to foreign brides. Hey, if you're in a situation where it's not working out for you locally, and we have the technology, like the $6 million man, gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. Well, we have the technology to go outside of that scope, of that immediate social area. And you don't need to ask Mr. Stefan Molyneux for approval for living your life and being happy. You can have a happy life without the permission of Stefan Molyneux. Okay? So, and more power to you. If you can find a foreign bride and be happy, have kids, more power to you. But I agree, you have to be careful. If the woman you're reaching out to, if she doesn't have a job, that's a problem, Don't do it. If she has a service-oriented job, well, that will increase the likelihood that you're going to have someone who's a real person, an honest person. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of work. There's risks all around. But I'm just providing advice on how to increase the likelihood for success. And what is the success about, Oh, is it just so that you can have endless sex? And nothing else? Well, don't forget, with sex comes children. When you have real sex, au natural sex, with sex comes children, and children are a lot of work. A lot of fun and a lot of work. What's the value of that? Is that, oh, you're so selfish because you want to have children? No, well, that's also selfless, right? Like I was telling you. That's just the way it's set up. The carrot of sexual pleasure, so we can have the work of kids. And kids are not so bad, and they're fun. Once you have them, you'll find that out. A meaningful life. That's what it's all about, having a meaningful life. And don't let the naysayers stop you. And I agree, watch out for cheaters and avoid the more cheating countries. Ukraine, a cheating country. Russia, a cheating country. Belarus, a cheating country. And maybe you can find some exceptions, but if you're going to find exceptions, you have to watch what is the job of the lady you're reaching out for. If they don't have a service-oriented job, or if they have no job, then the chances of failure and of you being cheated are much higher. All right. So Asia is a better route, I agree. China, for example. And possibly South America, but you have to be careful there. That's true. But, like I said, as service-oriented jobs, teaching, in other words, helping people type jobs, will increase the likelihood of your success. And there ain't nothing wrong with getting a foreign bride, in spite of what naysayers, myopic, stupid naysayers might say. Okay? All right, that's my commentary for today. Have fun.